Time now for sports. We get right into things with football news this evening. Premier League leaders Scholars International held to a draw in the first nationally televised match of the CFA Premier League. After the first half ended 1-1, the activity level escalated in the second half. Scholars in the blue and yellow took a 3-1 lead after Nahun Rodriguez converted his second penalty on the night. At that stage, the Scholars were 3-1 up. Bodden Town kept pace when Luigi Hernandez scored on a penalty as well, 3-2 in the second half. Scholars then extended their lead to 4-2 thanks to Fabian Malcolm, slotting the ball past Ramon Sealy. But the drama was just beginning after a Scholars' own goal, making it 4-3. The boys from the East made one final push and Kareem James scored the tie-in goal to make it 4-4 at the end of 90 minutes. In other results, Sunset went down to Tigers 3-1, but it was a drawn affair at the Edward Sports Center in both games. Roma battled to a 2-2 draw with Future, and the same scoreline went for Georgetown's battle with Elite. Unsuccessful news from the boxing ring for Cayman's Charles Whittaker. He stops American Chad Greenleaf in the third round of their light middleweight contest Saturday night. Whittaker knocks Greenleaf to the canvas twice in the third round, forcing the referee to stop the fight at 2 minutes 28 seconds of that round. It was the 35th win in Whittaker's professional career and first under his new promoter, Dan Goosen. Charles heads to Florida before returning home next month to begin preparations for a possible world title shot in March. Back home, some of Cayman's promising amateurs and legal professionals battled in the second amateur and white night. It was the first time competitive boxing was being held at the Dalmain Ebanks Boxing Gym at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex. Had a great turnout, as you can see there, with the fun evening. The most impressive victory on the night was amateur Dariel Ebanks, the southpaw in the red trunks, pummeling Peter Lewison from the first bell. Ebanks using his superior ability to outbox the bigger Lewison. Lightning Lewison was reduced to a spark by the sharp Ebanks, who used swift counters and attacking to stop Lewison in the third round, bloodied and bruised. Also scoring an impressive victory was that young man, Jason Parchment, another one of Cayman's young fighters fighting out of the blue corner. Parchment outclassed his opponent, Cruz Marquez. Parchment using his height and reach advantage to punish Marquez, forcing him to quit in the second round, shrugging off his loss in the Bahamas 1 week earlier. The other amateurs fighting on the card, usual business professionals, showed their skills as well. In this matchup, Shane Gallery defeated Wilson Honduran in another exciting bout. And finally, to cricket, no joy for the West Indies after losing the first test heavily to Australia this past Saturday. The home team takes a 1-0 lead in the 3-test series following a convincing innings and 65 runs victory over the Caribbean side at the Gabba. The West Indies forced to follow on after being bowled out for 228 in their first innings, still needing 252 to make the hosts bat again, but it didn't work out. Coming into the crease, West Indies skipper Chris Gayle knew his side needed a big innings to make the Aussies bat again, but he didn't last long. LBW to man of the match Ben Hilfenhaus for one. That started the slide for the West Indies bat against the disciplined Australian bowling. Gayle, Dowling and Chandapal all out before tea. One glimpse of hope came from the teenager Adrian Barat. The 19-year-old caps off a dream test debut with a century, but his 104 not out wasn't enough to save the Windies from slipping to a heavy loss. The news didn't get better for the Windies after the match, with key fast bowler Jerome Taylor having to return home because of a hip and a back injury. His replacement will be named tomorrow. The second test bowls off this Friday in Adelaide. That's the final ball in sports this evening. Weather is next.